So I'm on my way driving to my mom's house. I am going to jot down her story and post it. This is one of the successes I have had with nutritionally supporting someone. She's had chemo. She's had cancer twice, stage 4. Her doctors ask her apparently on a regular basis, this is what she's doing, and they're not sure how she's still alive. People in her situation have normally been passed away, but she's not only alive, but she's alive and thriving. Anyway, I'm going to kind of get some information from her about what the doctors have said, what type of cancer she has, some of the interesting stories, and kind of share that with everyone, and how much nutritionally supporting the body can help with traditional medicine, even though people don't believe nutrition can actually do anything for you.
Breast cancer. However, looking back on it, I think one of my aunts probably did have ovarian cancer. But, you know, when you're young, you don't understand all that's going on. So, what I didn't know was that it also predisposed you to ovarian cancer, and I had heard that in some of the groups that I had been involved in talking about the mutation, but I just assumed mine would be breast cancer because that's what my mother and all of her sisters had had,
right,
as far as I knew. My dad had also died of cancer.
He was lymphatic, wasn't he?
It was in the lymph nodes under his arm, so I assumed that it was called lymphatic.
Right. Makes sense.
So whenever people look at my history, medical people look at my history, they always get this look on their face like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to even say how bad I feel about this.
So I wanted to go through the details of the cancer, mostly so that people could understand that this was a severe case. She was in stage 4. It was everywhere. It was going into all the different organs, all of this. So we get into the information, understanding it, understanding what areas were impacted. Her family history was the first video we went through, kind of understanding that we have a deep history through family. I think I'm the 5th generation that carries a mutation of the breast cancer gene. As you can see with her, it wasn't necessarily breast, it was actually ovarian aspects, the fallopian tubes specifically is where it was coming from. Anyway, so I wanted to get into some more details with this, and then we get into more of the nutrition and what the doctors were saying later on.
Through this whole process, no one has ever said remission to me. Gotcha. The closest they've come to saying remission is when they say nothing is growing.
Gotcha.
They don't say there's no cancer there. They've just said what is there is not growing. And of course, if it were cancerous and if it were not controlled, it would be growing, because that's what cancer does.
Right. So but then you went through a space of time where you weren't doing anything, and then it was like it came back. Things were, I guess, growing then? Because you went back in for blood tests, and they said there's some alkalinity aspects. The cancer might be back or growing again.
Well, it seems to me like that when they told me that nothing was growing, that was after I'd been through chemo twice and started on my daily chemo pills.
Okay.
I don't think they ever said that between surgeries or...
So you had a space of time where you went in for surgery, you did some stuff, then you were good, and then all of a sudden we needed to go back in for surgery. There was no remission between any of that?
No.
So it was kind of a continuous aspect of things. For some reason, I was thinking it was 2 divisions. But why did they decide to go back in and do surgery?
They had done it laparoscopic the first time, and I think it was because of the scans. They said we need to go back in and there's more. And so that time they opened me up from right under my rib cage all the way down to my groin. And that's when they found, I think, 18. And it involved my kidney, my lungs, my rectum, my...
So I ended that kind of abruptly. The essence of it is it had spread throughout her body. It was connected to most of the major organs, systems, such like that. I'll pick up where I left off in the next video that I'm going to post next time, kind of discussing more of the nutrition, how it impacted her, what the doctors were seeing on their end without even knowing what was going on. I basically stepped in and was trying to help her get through it due to the fact that I knew that she just needed to be nourished, with the fact that the chemotherapy was basically breaking down and killing and flushing everything, trying to get rid of the cancer itself, being very aggressive. Seems the cancer itself was very aggressive. So next time, tune back in and we'll talk about the nutrition side of things.